But based on the format of the distribution you're going to do, you can choose whether or not to get some of the other items.
And it's one of these sheets per mobile. So
yes. Okay, so on this sheet, I kind of flipped that. The first thing is storage. So who in here remembers having an orange duffel bag that had some random stuff in it? Just one? Huh? You still have it? Anybody else? So in the other coordinator manual that we used to have, it talked about this duffel bag, this mysterious duffel bag that I had never seen, and all the things that were in it, and that we were going to keep those things supplied to you. And I was like, oh, I've never seen that stuff. So we are making a commitment to supply you with these things, and probably would refresh those supplies on an annual basis or check in with you regularly about when you need new things. So everybody is going to get this orange duffel bag. And it's, oh, we could have cut those off. That's the tag. Okay, and then everybody who wants one is going to get a red wagon. Isn't that awesome?
They do collapse down.
Yes, they do collapse. But we wanted something big enough that you could try and get most of your materials and supplies into one thing and make it easy to move in and out of your storage space. So if you want a wagon, mark it on your slip. And really, yes, they can. Yes, I was just going to say, we're prepared to load these in your car, everything, but if it's not feasible today, we'll get it on the truck or we'll put it in our own cars. That's fine. Maybe mark that on the bottom of your paper if you want it to come on the truck. Truck it. Okay, so, okay, you want to grab that, the sign that we have out front? Okay, so every now and then at a mobile, there's a piece of information you want to relay to the guests that is maybe only true for that one mobile or something. Or there might be a situation where you don't want people in the parking lot until X amount of time or whatever. So we've gotten this sign, and we had one of them out front. So that's the sign stand. We have one in the tractor already, or the wagon already. Now just stick it up on the table. So, but it's an optional thing, and it's maybe not something you would use every time, but you might need it every once in a while. So it's the stand itself, and then these plastic signboards, which is just, it's a dry erase. So we have 2 of those, and we have lots more of those if you need any more of those. You might want to remind them to get their tote bags ready. I don't know, whatever piece of information you want to put there. Because in the past, I've been to mobiles and it was like, oh, I wish we could tell them this. And there was like no way when you were there to actually get organized enough to do it. So that's the plastic signboards, and then the markers would be coming along with that. So mark whether you want that. Walkie-talkie sets. Now, Bill already uses one, but every wagon, I think they're in here, they're in there. So this is one of those things, if you don't want a walkie-talkie set, we're going to take it out of this before we give it to you. Just like at the mobile. So what's really helpful, I think, even if you're indoors, if you have a walkie-talkie set, you can communicate with whoever's out in the parking lot, arranging the cars and things like that. The set has 4 hand units, and you're going to get one whether you need it or not. 4. And they're rechargeable. You plug them. There's a charger thing in there. It's not battery operated. They're rechargeable. Okay, name tags for the volunteers. Oh, I was going to show. Be like Vanna. Wait. Oh man, I gotta dig. These are the name tags. It's just a roll of 500. So that'll last you for a long time. And then as you start to come low on any of these products, just let us know. So everybody's getting those. And then everybody's getting a kind of a unique vest for the coordinator. The reason we wanted to do this was because as the coordinator, you're the point person for every other volunteer there, and we want you to be really visible. So, we brought those yellow vests before, but the coordinators will get this orange one with pockets. And it's 2 different sizes, large and extra large. So I want you to indicate, and we do want the coordinators to wear this at the mobile. This one is extra large. The bunny suit, that's true. Her holiday themed won't go. You can even stick your name tag in here. They do, she does.
I don't know if this is possible at all, but, and I wrote this on my notes earlier.
Oh, okay.
You said we weren't going to have T-shirts anymore, and I know that in our community, when they see the T-shirts, it helps businesses. They say, "Oh, you're a volunteer. Is there anything that we can do to help?"
You mean like when they're out in public?
Yes, like when we go for pizza with
Yep.
the volunteers afterwards. Is there any way to have those vests printed on the backside, if nothing else, coordinator or second harvest or something like that? Because
we'll look into that.
That would help with traffic going by, because we're
Yep.
standing out in the street and
Yeah.
we've got a lot of traffic, and people are like, "What are you doing out in the middle of the road?" Well, it's a food pantry. We're second harvest. And
okay, well, yeah.
That might really be helpful.
It might be that we can get a sticker that you can apply. I mean, it says SHFB, but maybe there's something more that we can put here.
That's what I meant.
Okay. Did you write that down?
Yeah, they won't see that lettering, especially when we're
want to stick
at night. It's dark and we're out there yet.
Okay, but we're going to give you this one. I mean, yeah, I guess you don't want to mark it with magic marker. That's not as good. Okay. So all the things I just covered are about the team communicating with each other. Okay, you first, Bill. We have large and extra large, and we just kind of picked like half and half. So if we run out of the size you need, we'll just order a new one. We could do that.
I mean, a lot of us, if we're out in the winter to go over.
Remember, it's just the coordinator, though. This one's for just the coordinator.
Right, but still.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You're always
to put it over your winter coat, yeah. So I put to check either large or extra large, but if you have a different size you want, just write that, and we'll follow up with it. Lori? Yep, you'll both get one. Yes, you can both have one. If you have co-coordinators, you can both have one. Okay, then now we're moving on to the traffic safety. This is like my favorite thing. You probably can tell. Kind of a nerd about this. When we started COVID distributions, we spent several hours in a room with a big whiteboard trying to draw how we could make a drive-through work. And, the first model that we came up with wasn't maybe very practical. You all had to do it instantly, remember? And your agency rep was like, "Oh, no, put this over here. No, this," and it was like, ugh. But somehow you still got the food out to the people. And so over time, we learned that there's better ways and worse ways to do it. And again, you all adapted to your sites. But what's consistently needed, I think, is real clarity. And I don't always see that at the mobiles. To me, probably the most important logistical volunteer at the mobiles is the one who's positioning the car into the right spot. And I don't see that happening a lot of places. It's kind of like, well, the 2 cars will pull up and then this one's sort of full and then it'll start going, but this one's still parked. And we did have an instance where a staff member of ours was her first week and she was volunteering and she was working on this car in the front, putting things in the back. The guy there's foot fell off the brake pedal and he pinched her against the car, and she's still, where's she? It's Pilar, poor thing. And she kept her job and stayed, recovered and everything. But that really scared us. And so my recommendation to you as you move into your new normal and develop your new plan for if it's a drive-through distribution, Andy and I would like to see really clear delineations of where the cars are parking. And as you all know, it's more efficient. It's easier for the volunteers if the trunk of the car or the back seat or whatever is at a spot that's easiest for the volunteers to walk to. Okay, so when you give us your plans for what's going forward, that might be one of the questions we talk to you about, like physically, where are things? So we're providing you a lot of tools to make it a really, really safe environment, and we want the volunteers to be using these tools. So as you can see, a lot of them are already included. Traffic cones. Oh. So these, everybody gets 8. Well, there's 8 in the wagon. So the outdoor ones obviously need these. I would say that the indoor mobiles can also use these to mark off your parking areas or whatever. We have enough for everybody. So just, your outdoor, the ones that we know are outdoors, will automatically get those. And if you want them while you're indoors as well. What's the next thing? Pool noodles. Okay. So Andy has a blood drive. I used to work at Red Cross. A mobile in Platteville that uses pool noodles, and we thought that was a great idea to bring people into the parking area. So demonstrate how those are used.
You know you're an important member of the organization. You did a good job.
Yeah, an airport.
Somebody said though, I work in TSA. So yeah, we do have one. I've got one mobile that does utilize these very well. And what they do basically is not really brain surgery, but what they do is whoever is using it for traffic control, make sure. First of all, the main thing, if you all of us have probably done that, eye contact with the driver is the most important thing because people get distracted about where our volunteers around them. So secure that eye-to-eye contact, and then however you want to use these. But a lot of times, just get them out wide enough from your body so they can actually see you and see the pool noodles very well. And just basically wide. Use your elbows. Put the elbow into it. Don't just do this.
Yeah.
And
to show real direction, because they
basically be large.
Yeah.
Okay? Be wide, be large, and then bring them into where you need them.
Okay, so these would be really useful for anything that's in the daytime, in the full daylight. But for the mobiles that are not, we have wands. Same thing. And Andy made a good point. Don't put them like this, because really, can you tell how I'm moving this? Do it like this. Do it so they can see the actual. It's like you're the head of an arrow bringing in, So like a lot of times people will go like this, like this, like this. Well, someone 20 feet away can't even tell that your hand is moving, let alone that you want them to come this direction. So we have these for the mobiles that are going to happen at dusk or, once it gets dark in the wintertime. Okay, so that option is, so they're included if you're outdoors. And I probably should have just X'd out that you don't get to have them if you're indoors. Although, I don't know, if you need them, we'll get them to you. Okay, so that should go over here. The next thing, and some of you have some of these, another version of these already, the stop and go signs. When we started COVID, we had those signs printed that said roll down your window, and I don't know, what else did those say? Open your trunk. And that was really helpful, but we haven't really provided them for this situation. So we now have bigger stop and go signs. Beloit uses these all the time, but it's only like a third of the size. So this would be the person who's positioning the car would use this, okay? And what I like to do at a mobile is as the cars are coming in, I'm like, come on, keep moving, and then like this. And that way, you're going to make the loading go quicker. And then you're going to say, put your car in park. So, because a lot of times they don't, their brake lights are still on, they're just sitting on the brakes. So those are the two really, really important things that the traffic, or that the person who's stopping the car needs to use. And we have lots of these. We give everybody 2, but we've got more of those if you need any more of those. Okay, and trust me, if I come to a mobile and see they're not being held, I'll fuss. So, okay, now we move on to people safety. And the first item is these disposable rain ponchos. Who knows if you need them? But if you need them and you don't have them, it's a real pain. So there's a couple, there's either 1 or 2 packs in each thing that's got like 8 rain ponchos. And they're not particularly attractive, but they keep people dry. So that is a required one for outdoors. You can see almost everything's required for the outdoors and actually for the indoors too. First aid kits, and some of you will still have an old first aid kit that we provided years ago. I wouldn't trust those Band-Aids to stay on. So we'll give you a fresh new one. Okay, box cutters. You can't imagine how much fun it was ordering all these things. By the way, here's the walkie-talkies. They're each a different color, so you can kind of keep track of if you're missing one. So the box cutters, hey. Oh, from where? They put them in here. Okay. So these box cutters are safety box cutters. And you know, everybody, there's always one person in the lot that's got a big fancy knife that they whip out, and that's fine. You can use your own ones. But we felt we should supply some and that the ones we supplied should be safe. So they look like this. The blade is like in a protected area. And they're mostly, I mean, you would open a box by putting it here and pulling it towards you. You know, so there's a box of 12 of those. And we didn't label these. You might want to if you don't want them to walk away from your mobile. I don't know. You can just mark SHFB on them if you want to, but those are good. Huh? You're going to mark everything? Well, at least if they go home then and someone notices, oh, that's right. That's from the mobile. I'll take it back the next time.
We had a wagon with, I painted Dodge County mobile.
Yeah.
Somebody walked off with one and kind of took the paint off, repainted it.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Okay. If that's what they got to do to get food for their family, I'm going to bite my tongue. Okay, the next thing is paper towels and disinfecting spray cleaner. So there's 2 rolls of paper towels in there, and the spray cleaner is in this plastic bag. It's antibacterial spray cleaner. Again, I used to work at Red Cross, and we always had this around in case there was a blood spill. And really, there could be a blood spill at the mobile. If you're not using the safety box cutter, you could slice yourself open. But it's also for food spills or anything like that. We certainly want to leave the site in a clean condition and not jeopardize them letting us use the site. So there's paper towels and this cleaner. We got lots of paper towels. We'll replenish those as you need them. Maybe you never need them. Oh, yeah, caution tape. This is another fun one. Okay, say you have a really bad spill, like you pick up a jar of mayonnaise and it drops and it splats all over the place. So if you have some cones handy, you can put up some cones and then wrap the safety tape around it or do something with this just to alert people to the fact that there's they have to be cautious walking through that area. And again, you may never use it, but if you need it, we got it.
Well, with the spray, is that replaceable? Because I provide a container of Lysol water and clean the tables.
Yeah, you clean the tables with that stuff, and that's a disinfectant thing. We just want you to have a disinfectant spray. If you need it, we'll provide it. If you've got something you like to use, that's fine. I've got 5 minutes, she tells me. Okay, so going back to the person who sliced open his finger with a unauthorized knife, we have these incident reports. There's an envelope in your duffel bag that has 10 of these. This was, like when that happened with Pilar and some other things that have happened. Even if it's a small injury, we want to have it recorded that it happened. If the person is fine and nothing results, that's great. But if something happens like it happened at Darlington, where someone fell, didn't feel like they had an injury then. Who was it? Was it Delva?
No.
But, they might go to sleep that night and not wake up because of a head bump or something like that. We want to have a recording of the incident. And so they're in there, and I think it's pretty clear what the procedure is. We would file that with our HR department. So, I mean, I know, Bill, you had a woman who was like, no, she fell or did something. Right. And she was like, no. we followed up with her and asked her to fill out the report. Just, it's a liability issue. I'm sure you can all understand from that perspective.
One other thing is, even though they say I'm not hurt, we insisted she go to the emergency room
Yeah.
and get checked. And she was glad she did because she had a wrist, I don't know if it was fractured or if it was just sprained badly.
Wow.
But I will say that Second Harvest was great because they called her that night. I had filed a report and that night she got a call already. So.
Good. Well, I think it's called an incident/injury report. So even an incident, I mean, where there isn't any apparent injury, should be recorded if you can, if you know of it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's just let me know that it's there. If you can scan it and send it, or even just take a photograph of it and send me the photograph, we'll figure that out. And hand sanitizer, we're including. Oh no, back to water for volunteers. We are going to provide water year round because you guys are working hard and moving around, and you need to stay hydrated. We just haven't figured out the vehicle for you yet. So we'll either. I would like to be able to have it on the truck and send it to you, but we might end up having you purchase it and reimbursing you. So we'll fill you in on it later. Okay, probably have 2 minutes left now. So the other things are for food safety. I do want to show you the temp gun. It's got to be in here. Okay, this is one of the things that we're going to have you coordinators, or at least a lead volunteer, do is to take food safety training. It's available online and you take a quiz. It's real simple. But then there's somebody who's knowledgeable of and responsible for the food safety and the temperatures and things. This is a thermal gun, temp gun, that you just point and shoot at something and it'll tell you what the temperature is. So on those days where you're like, should I or should I not put a thermal blanket on this stack of ice cream? Yeah, well, this will confirm that. Vinyl gloves. Okay, we're including vinyl gloves, and we only really require them if they're handling produce. And I think that's probably for everybody's benefit because sometimes that stuff is a little slimy. But you certainly don't. And we backed off of requiring hair nets. We thought, we don't need hair nets. That was an option. The Sort Quick is that sticky stuff that you can put on your fingers to when you're pulling apart those plastic bags. People who used to work who were secretaries in offices know how to do that. Okay, and then quickly the packing tape and a dispenser. Just, again, miscellaneous times when you might need something. You want to repair a box that's split open so you can use it to hand out food, and a couple rolls of tape. We'll be sending sidewalk salt again. We have some scales. If you want to use a scale, when you're packing that pound assortment of 7 pounds of dairy or whatever that came. We have some of those if you want one. I said the supply is in the back. Somehow we'll have them out if you want one of those. And then I'm skipping the general supplies, the plastic grocery bags. So does everybody like the new grocery bags that we're sending with the smiley face on them? Has everybody seen those yet? You haven't seen those yet? Okay. So they're stronger. They're stronger. It took me 6 months to get this changed, but they're stronger. And we do have some boxes of them in the back. I think we have like 7 or 8 boxes in the back. If you want to grab a whole box, you're welcome to, but they are the standard that we're bringing out now. And on the after report, you'll notice there's now a question about if you need more bags. You indicate it there, and we'll make sure more bags are in next time. If you need any general clerical supplies, Post-it notes, pens, markers, or something, just let Andy and I know, and we will snitch it from the drawers that we have out here. So, next. Thank you for everything.
Right away.
Yes. So we're going to customize your order in the back, and then what's going to happen at the end of the day when we're all back together is we will help you load them in the car unless you want us to bring it on the truck. Anybody have other questions for me about any of this stuff?
Could you shoot me a soft copy of this? I want to share it with everyone.
What do you mean a soft? Don't you just want a couple copies of it? You mean you want it by email? Oh, I might forget because I didn't bring my computer today. Good idea. Yeah.
The yellow sign with the marker, will that come off the water? So if it's raining, does that come off?
No, it does not. It's dry erase, so that doesn't come off with water. And your thing has a spray that you have to use to get it off, and eraser. Oh yes, we we had a testing lab set up for.
Try to do the sign with the food list on it.
You can, if that means that they'll remember by the time they get up there, but you can. Okay. he's in denial. Okay. So, huh?
How many noodles?
You could have as many as you want.
Not for the 2 people.
Okay. So the person who's standing there right here, I would give them to bring them off the street. Yeah. Yeah. You could, the guys who's parking in the parking lot could be like, go in this spot. Well, you can take more, take as many as you need. And you can always give them back to us if you're finding you're not using them. Is there anything that we're not giving you that you can think of that you need? Yeah.
You might not see them cones, like your ruler, you can stick in top of that.
Yes.
And that would help a lot.
Yes. Yes. And I've seen that done too, where you have the cone and then you stick that ruler with the stop sign in there. That's fine. And you have the volunteer, like Andy says, make eye contact with that driver. And you're like, okay, that is where you stop. So, yep. Okay, so where'd everybody go? I'm done. So we're getting lunch ready. I think people can get up. Or no. It's Christina next, right? No, it's Katie's things. I'm sorry. If you guys want to get up and stretch for a second. Is she? Yeah, and if you want to come up and look at any of these things before you decide, you're welcome to do that. Why do you think that is? Pete Raffensperger. I'm sure that was my fault.
It's stuff, not even. I know pretty corn.
Oh, this is the test one, so I don't need it back in. Okay. I'm just going to leave this stuff in the corner when you're on a break or at lunch, if you want to come dig through and play with anything, you're welcome to.
Hello, Laura.
Hello.
How will we know which one should get the lighted traffic warnings?
I think that they'll make the right decision, but if you want to question it, how many do we have? Like 20, don't we? Well, the fact is they haven't all told us what their new plan is, but we know there's not that many later in the day. We should talk about the traffic ones.
Oh, okay.
I think we have plenty for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're giving them a minute to stretch before we check the video.
You want me to start it off?
Yeah.
You said something about being able to get paper and cartridge toner.
Yeah. So if you want to
I'll make a picture of
print out the little list, I mean, we can make the menu for you, the little list of menu. Because what are you doing now? You're just giving them the bags of stuff. You've packaged it all and you're giving it.
Well,
So
we ask. I mean, a lot of them don't want the milk and eggs for some reason.
Right.
They only want one.
and
okay.
we always do separately and put in the front seat because
That's good. That's good customer service. Yeah, so you just tell us what your printer model is or what the ink model is that you need, and then we'll just order it with our regular supplies. And we'll give you a ream of paper. I'm going to grab that now so I don't have to ship it to you.
because I have to do some printing for August. We have a contract.
Yeah, we're changing.
So we'll give you all the cartridges and basically assume that those cartridges will last you a year for the things, or if you need them more. I mean, I'm not going to say take them out of your printer when you're printing your newsletter for your family. I'm not going to say that. I'm just trying to guess. I just want you to have the things you need
Yeah,
when you
because
need
right
them.
now we have the Lions Club supply us with all those things.
Yeah.
You can
Well, and how many? Okay, so if there's 6 on a page, how many pages would you have to print for your?
150 divided.
Okay, so like 25 pages. Mm-hmm.
That takes
Yeah.
a lot of ink.
It does, and it's 12 times a year. So If you need, yeah, just
Okay, I'll let you know. The list of food you're going to do, or we're supposed to ask for? You know, you're saying you can give us lists.
if you want us to give you the list, we would create it